So you bring up Briley Moore, the tight end transfer from Northern Iowa. I mean, I could not be more excited about this guy. I think he's going to be the highest impact newcomer, which may be a pretty obvious statement there. But are we putting too high of expectations on him? What is a reasonable expectation level for him this year?
Yeah, see, I'm not sure what the reasonable expectation is. So my first instinct is some of us, including myself and you, of course, are kind of expecting a lot from him. And I don't know how fair or not fair that may be. So I think there's potential that we are putting more expectations on him than maybe should. And that's nothing against him. Some of that could be the offense too. We'll see. We just don't know because he played at the FCS level and missed all of last season as well. So how does he respond to that time off as well will determine what kind of production and what kind of player Kansas State is getting. I think it'll certainly be an upgrade to most of the tight ends that they used last year. But in terms of, what everything comes to the table, I think that remains to be seen. I think it's an upgrade. We're just not going to know how much of one until the time comes.
Derek Young talking with me from KSO. Defensive side of the ball, I am still very high on Justin Hughes, assuming that role of heart and soul of the defense, which is what he was anointed by Chris Kleiman before he got hurt in spring ball last year. It was an ACL, MCL, and meniscus injury to his knee. So, we're talking major reconstructive knee surgery for him. How confident are you that he is going to be able to fill those shoes and step back in there?
The latest of what that I've heard out of Hughes was that he had he's been in the voluntary workout so far in Manhattan as well, and he's been there for a week or two and working out away from Veneer before those voluntary workouts started to be permitted on Monday. And by all accounts, the way he was moving was very encouraging to everyone. There was no, noticeable, setbacks or anything that they could witness or that they saw. So I think right now he is on track in the track that he should be. So there is no concerns at this point. Everything looks a lot different when the pads come on and the bullets start flying, though, and we're pretty far from that point still. I think probably a month or month and a half out from maybe getting to that point. So that'll probably tell us more. But right now he is making the progress and on track the way he should be. I do have a little reservation because this wasn't just a typical torn ACL knee injury that you see some people bounce back from in a short time period. Like Sammy Wheeler is undergoing right now, and I've heard that he's still on track as well. And Nick Leonard's had the year before, and you could see that some of his athleticism and explosion wasn't there this past year. Now his is starting to return even more as well, which is a bright spot that Kansas State can hopefully look forward to in that vein. But Justin Hughes, his was a little bit more extensive in terms of it wasn't just the ACL. It was a lot of other things going on in that knee as well. And I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but this did happen in the spring and not the fall. So he will have almost a year and a half recovery time in between when Sammy Wheeler and Nick Leonard necessarily did not.
Yeah, did the math the other day. By the time September 5th rolls around, when K-State would theoretically be playing the first game of the year, it'd be like 651 days, I want to say, for Justin Hughes in between games. So it's a very, very long time. As far as the rest of the defense goes, I mean, to me, the biggest question mark would be the defensive line minus Wyatt Hubert. But how do you evaluate where question marks lie on that side of the ball?
The question marks are we're going to see older players along that defensive line that haven't really played for Kansas State or college football necessarily yet. A lot of junior college guys were added on the defensive line to kind of replace a lot of the outgoing production from last year because there's no more Trey Deshawn, no more Joe Davies, no more Jordan Mitty, no more Reggie Walker, no more Kyle Ball. That was the biggest exodus came on the defensive line. And to kind of protect themselves and prepare for that exodus, they did grab a lot of junior college guys. So being Kamari Gaines from Hutchinson Community College, he'll probably play some defensive end. There's a chance one of the starting defensive tackles is going to be a junior college addition, immediate starter. It'll probably be Derek Newton or Robert Hentz. Robert Hentz came from Northwest Mississippi Community College. Derek Newton came from Butler via K-State. This is his second time being in Manhattan, kind of like the Darrell Patterson route, if you will. So except Newton had one full year in Manhattan and Patterson only a couple of weeks. I think Derek Newton might be the starter, but it also could be Robert Hentz. I think Kamari Gaines is going to play quite a bit of defensive end. And because that they didn't get the spring football that they anticipated to get, I think some of the guys that have been there a little bit longer will have a leg up. Had they had spring football, then maybe Newton and Hicks would have an easier time of grabbing a starting position, or maybe Kamari Gaines could jump ahead of Boone Massey. But Boone Massey would have missed spring football anyway because he was dealing with off-season surgery. So now he's not a step behind Kamari Gaines, so to speak. So maybe Boone Massey can step into a starting role, whereas he might have been challenged by Gaines a little bit more if there was a spring football period. So there's a lot of things to take into account. There's going to be a lot of new faces.
TY, always appreciate the time. Thanks for your insight. Follow him on Twitter at DYoungRivals, and we'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Thank you.